Check out this clip from Neighborly Discourse with Billy and Steve.
Even the ones who initially said we don't want the death penalty, they saw something that said, you know what, I think I changed my mind on this, right?
Yeah.
And yet we have an administration who's like, you know what he did was horrible.
No,
but it wasn't horrible
clearly
enough.
hates America.
It wasn't horrible enough for him to die.
In every possible way. In every way. Tearing its own citizens, funding a war overseas. Like, they hate our way of life. You know, I saw something the other day, something about, you burn your empire to rule over the ashes. Something along those lines. Mm-hmm. And it was a picture of Obama and Biden. I was like, yeah, dude, they will destroy America just to say, look at us, we're in charge. Even though there's nothing to do.
But I think that's oversimplistic. I don't think
But it needs to be simple. People need to think too much sometimes.
No, what I'm saying is that I think that we're oversimplifying their end game. Their end game is not just to say we're in control. Their end game is to be in control.
But the point is, they would rather destroy and rule ashes, rule nothing,
right,
than to make it prosperous and be part of a thriving society.
Because we see. Did I tell you the story? I was at a school and I asked the question about how many people are in the world. I think there was a question about how many people are in the world. And this is middle school. And to show you their perspective, they said something like 7 million.
Yeah, we talked about it.
We talked about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Did I tell you that when I said, hold on. There's like 350, 360 million in America. Just start with that number. Now tell me how many is in the world, right?
Yeah.
And so I think I said 340 million. They said, okay, for the rest of the world, so total 350 million.
Yeah.
So in their mind, the United States was everything in terms of population, and there was only 10 more million people in the rest of the world.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
That is, yeah.
Okay.
What's going on in our schools, man?
So when you say the statement that you just made about bringing us to ashes, right?
Yeah.
The assumption behind that comes from the frame of reference of we are 350 and the rest of the world is 10 million, whether you realize it or not. But their end game is not to rule the United States. Their end game is to rule the world.
Yeah.
Like, they want to be Secretary General of the United Nations. Yeah. They want the United Nations to be the power broker of the whole world. And that's where they want to rule from that position where I don't got to worry about borders anymore. I don't got to worry about boundaries. I can rule the whole world. I can fly to any country, in and out of any country with elite status. That's what they want. Your boy Trudeau, that his goal was to get there. Like, he was like next in line to get to the United Nations, and this whole debacle. Well, not just this debacle, but things that have happened over a couple of years, but including this last debacle has ruined that for him. But their goal ultimately is to go there. So they don't care about the United States. The United States is their step stool to get to where they want to be.
They're trying to get up there. Like they're probably envious of that scumbag up there, Trudeau, trying to like being able to invoke certain things because those people have no power like we do down here. Yeah, they're like, can you imagine? No disrespect to the Canadians out there, but can you imagine being envious of Canada? As an American, can you imagine being envious of anybody, first of all?
Right.
But of Canada, like again, most of the stuff we learn from TV and news, hey, friend, how you doing, eh? Like, who's being
envious? I'm just curious. In this
Biden,
scenario.
all these people that they can't, they couldn't shut down our country, but they got the corporate America to do it. But Trudeau said, hey, no, you can't do this, and we shut it. Like, he's allowed to dictate everything that goes on up there.
Right.
Biden is not allowed to. So they get their goons in corporate America to do it themselves. They're envious of that stuff. They're envious of China, Venezuela, people who can make their people do anything without recourse. That's what they want.
Yeah, man.
Like, I'm not wrong, dude. I mean, we've talked about this before. Australia, the utopia of no gun and free living. Look at that place during COVID. It had concentration camps for COVID people. Like they put Djokovic.
It was like
they put Djokovic in a holding cell for 2 or 3 weeks. Like lock people down. Oh, but we have no guns. They're happy. They're not happy.
Listen,
their government is tyrannical.
Oddly enough,
tyrannical. What's the word?
You said it right.
Okay, good. I'm not going to go back and try to say it.
So, because I did it right.
I got it.
I don't want to mess it up.
I'm normally excellent about pronunciation.
2 in a row. Yeah.
But I talk fast.
Right.
If I can slow it down, I can pretty much say anything. But my brain speeds, my mouth can't keep up.
One of the things that I wanted to bring up, and you just alluded to it, is the fact of our rights.
Yeah.
Right?
In simple terms, people, we have rights.
Well, that's the thing.
And they don't really seem to realize that.
I want you to consider something that happened with COVID. And I'm going to use one example. I can use multiple examples, but I'm going to use one example.
Yeah.
Think about the church.
Yeah.
I go to church every Sunday, 3 times a week, easily, right?
Yeah.
It's a place where where my emotional and spiritual state gets revitalized, and I'm able to live a good life, be
Yeah.
a good person,
Yeah,
be
yeah.
a good citizen, right? And my ability to do that is enshrined in the Constitution. It
Yeah.
says that I can do this. But yet, because of COVID, we had governors around the country that was saying, you can't go to church. That we actually just went through this time. We just passed through a time period
Yeah.
where that actually happened. And governors had the audacity, the temerity to say, yes, this is good. This happened. California got sued left and right because
Yeah.
over this. And thank God, we had justices who say like, yes, this is wrong. But even just like I told you about the whole death penalty thing,
Yeah.
the 6-3, even in those cases where California said you can't stop people from worshiping, it still was split down.
Yeah. Well, and we know our thoughts on that is the state has to control you, not God. If you believe that God gave you your rights, then you don't really have to listen to some power tripping liberal. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, because they didn't shut down in most conservative states. They shut down in most liberal states. They want control. They don't want you. They don't want
Hold
you
on.
to have a free thought.
Hold on. Broward County.
Yeah. Well, they're liberal as hell down
But that's the point I'm making to you, that there should be zero chance. Nothing should happen. There could be nothing that happens short of the church grabs guns and start killing people, right?
Yeah.
Something crazy like that. There should be no reason why you ever tell a person in the United States, an American citizen,
Yeah.
that you can't worship.
Yeah.
And you can't come together as a group and worship. Period. Even at their own risk, at their own peril, if they say like, we're willing to die for this, you can't tell them they can't. That's the point I'm making. It's in the Constitution.
Well, people again, they still think church and state separation is.
But hold on, we're not even talking about rule of law in terms of like, okay,
We're talking about the rights were not given by the government; they were
yes,
given by God.
Me as a person,
Yeah.
get rid of government. Me as a person,
Yeah.
you can't come on top of that and say I have to do this. I
Yeah.
can't do what
These are unalienable rights given by God, not by the government. And they seem to and try to put themselves. No. This is given to you by the government. They're not by the government.
Which guys, especially our Democratic friends, that's really the point that I was trying to get to,
Yeah.
is that if we're wrong, right? If at some point they can turn around and say that your rights are not given to you by God, right? And I'm even speaking to my atheist friends out there.
Yeah,
If they could somehow make that a reality
we're listening.
in America, where our rights are not given to us by God,
Yeah.
our rights are given to us by the government, then that means that we are a ward of the state.
That means they can be taken away.
Everything.
Yeah, if your rights are given you by the government can take them away. That's the problem.
We create. There's this artificial agency that now has control over us.
Yeah.
What's the difference between that and Russia and China and Venezuela? And you're gonna say, "Oh, Steve, why you go to?"